from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bola Bola Show. It's me, Steven. And of course, I'm here again with my two co-host buddies. First and foremost, Bala, how's it going, man?
Hi, Steven. How are you doing? It's been a while. I met you both of us. I think the last we met during the KL JDT.
Yes.
And then a lot of things have happened. And here we go again. MCO 3.1, I guess. Elvin, is it correct?
We don't know. Okay, I mean, it's 3.0, but the sad part is, when we were just about to start to get things rolling, go to the stadium, start to record stuff and all that, then we're all back at home again, huh?
Yeah.
So that's quite devastating, and also, another devastating day today for me.
Okay, I think maybe we'll come to that a little bit later, okay? I'm sure everybody wants to know. All right?
Yeah.
But,
And not just me anyway. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, for this episode, of course, we have a guest on our show. And you probably might have heard from him before on the Bola Bola Show when we did an Inter Milan special sometime last year. If I'm not mistaken, I guess maybe it was about a year ago we did that episode. Anyway, welcoming back to the Bola Bola Show is none other than Ras, all the way from Singapore, from Back Pass with Ras.
Hello, guys. It's a pleasure having you back. Having myself back on your show.
Mhm.
And anyways, for my listeners listening in, because we're sharing this on Back Pass with Ras, this is our first ever collaborative show with the inspiration behind our show, the guys at the Bola Bola Show. So I'll just introduce you guys to the three Argentine gauchos from Klang, Elvin and Bala. These are the inspiration behind the Back Pass with Ras show.
Yep. And to be honest, yes, I've enjoyed many of your episodes, wonderful contents as well. So yes, please do check out the Back Pass with Ras. But I guess it's only appropriate that, Ras, maybe you want to share with our listeners exactly, what's the concept of your podcast, by the way?
Well, the concept of the podcast is actually we're just bringing you back down memory lane, going back to the 90s and 2000s, looking back at football at that time. It's quite thematic in that sense that we have maybe a certain episode will focus on a certain team or national team or a period in that time, or some, like our first ever episode was on playmakers. So, it's thematic, and at certain episodes, like the last one we had was with Shabby Singh, and was also thanks to you guys that there was this collaboration between us that allowed for that episode to be recorded and released to public. So that was our first ever interview episode. This is our first ever collaborative episode. So yeah, we're breaking boundaries here.
Yes, true indeed. And that fact that you mentioned the 90s, and this episode is all about the 90s, specifically with the European Championship. As you guys know, that we were supposed to have the Euro last year, but because of the pandemic, it has been postponed and brought forward to this year. It's an exciting tournament coming ahead, and we're going to get down right away. First with Euro 92, right after this message.
Denmark's dream has become reality, a quite astonishing achievement. The rank outsiders who didn't even qualify have become the champions of Europe, undisputed. They are the 1992 European champions. It is simply a footballing fairy tale.
So guys, we are now back in 1992, right? So for us all, kids who are born in the 80s, is this the first ever Euro for kids around our age, guys? I mean, maybe you can share with us or share with me your experiences, what do you go through at this point of time? Start with you. Yeah, Ras. Maybe Ras wants to go first.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
get Ras done.
sure.
Yeah,
I'll go
be our
first.
guest.
Yeah. I'm family, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, actually it was my first Euro, but it was not really the first one that I watched, because at that point I was about 8 years old,
Mhm.
and I had no clue at all of this tournament and and the existence of the European Championships, because all I knew was of the World Cup. I didn't know about European Championships until one day when I opened up the newspaper, and on the eve of the tournament, in the newspaper, I was looking through in the sports section and saw this tournament, European Championships, and then I was looking at all the teams participating. And I was looking out for my favorite team, Italy, and I was thinking, hey, how come Italy is not here? So I just couldn't understand it. And I asked my father about it and why they weren't there. He just told me they were not playing. So he didn't really give me the backdrop on that you need to qualify for this tournament and all that. So that's probably where my interest started and ended for that Euros, because Italy were not in it. But I was still keeping an eye on the tournament, and I was taking a look at the squads as well, because some of the players I could recognize from Serie A and from the English Premier League, or in those days it was the English First Division. So I could recognize some of the players and some of the teams I knew as well from the World Cup. And also, yeah, that's my experience with Euro 92, the start of it.
And what about you, Bala?
Well, me, I was just under, I think we were, I think, under 12 years old to be exact.
Yeah, that dreaded UPSR. Huh?
Yeah, now it's obsolete for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Well, that time UPSR known to be, in Indian we call it mana personnel. Every fella, call you was something different. But then coming back to Euros, whereby I wasn't much into football at the time. But I just used to read newspapers and that kind of information. But to be fully involved, I wasn't there yet until World Cup in 1994. So it's more like, reading newspaper, I'm more into Selangor all the time. And of course, until now, but it was just a touch and go kind of thing. How about you, Sivan?
Well, my story is similar to Russ, because it's just basically the tournament just took me by surprise. I just happened to, I think I went to play football in the evening, came back home, and my dad just came back from work. So he had his Star newspaper. I'm sure, Elwin, you remember back in those days, when you have these tournaments.
Yes, the
in
bumper
middle,
pull out.
Yes, the bumper pull out. The middle section, you have
Yeah.
this big spread out with all the matches.
Awesome.
You can fill in the score, the tables and all that. So that's when I knew, okay, we're having Euro 92. And thank goodness it was on the same night with the opening fixture between France and Sweden. So that's pretty much how I got started with Euro competition. Although during the 1990 World Cup, I did sort of remember reading something about what happened in 88, but I totally couldn't remember or didn't watch any game from that particular edition.
Yeah. So people, probably all the younger generation, be wondering why was it so hard for us to get information, right? This was definitely before the pre-Google days and all that. So it was really very, very, it's like we rely on newspaper and the kind of media that comes in. Also, it's like, usually very late and almost very close to tournament starting. So we don't really have much information there. But I don't know about you guys, but for me, especially during this period, like the 1990 World Cup and the Euro 92 and all that, I had to go to, because of the European time zone, right? So I had to go do this thing of sneaking out of my room quietly.
Same here.
Putting the TV on mute, completely no volume, bro. Just completely no volume at all. Just watching the games, hiding in the dark and watching the games, because you don't want to wake up your parents, right, in the middle of the night when you have to go to school the next day. Yeah. So this is something I really take on I really remember during this period
Okay.
Yep.
And
I remember I got a memory now of that, the newspaper pull out of the fixtures, the league, the round robin tables and all that. We used to have that as well. I used to collect it for each tournament. So whether it was Euros or World Cup, and I would diligently fill it up, as the tournament go by.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think one of the most significant thing about the Euro 92 was that for the first time ever, Germany came as a unified nation. Just a bit of history, in the prior to the 90s, for I think about 30, 40 years, Germany was split between East and West. Then in 1989, as the Berlin Wall came down, they became a unified nation. So, Bala, I suppose, expectation must be very high. And not forget the fact that Germany are also the World Cup holder, right?
Yes, Sivan, I think the spirit and all this with the communism, whereby the Russian most likely coming to the east side, and then this Westerners coming to West Germany, and Germany won the World Cup. I think the unification made all sense after, especially going to the first tournament as a World Cup holders. And on top of that, I think there's even another historical event was happening concurrently on the other side of the Europe, whereby USSR was dismantled and it became CIS. The Commonwealth of Independent States, and prior to that, USSR knocked out Ras Italy from that Euros as well. And don't forget that Italy is the team is quite a detailed team with the Mancini striker, Baggio was there, Maldini was there, even Pagliuca with Walter Zenga was playing, and then it was a solid team actually. So two events, one is unification, another one dismantling. So it was really some kind of Euros to look into for that era actually.
Okay. So of course, Ras, unfortunately Italy didn't qualify, but we had France and England, two, I would say, traditionally European powerhouse, but surprisingly neither made it past the group stage, man.
Yeah, true. I think going into the tournament, they were both among the two teams that I was familiar with, because France had Cantona, he was playing for Leeds, and Jean-Pierre Papin. England, of course, recognize the players from the English First Division. Not many Manchester United players in that squad, but you still could recognize the players. And I say they were favourites along with Holland and Germany to win the tournament. I think in a nutshell, those two teams, France and England, they drew two matches and surprisingly lost the last crucial match against Scandinavian opponents, Denmark and Sweden, and they were knocked out. So from my understanding, this is what I read, is that France's team and that tournament was not united. They were going into the tournament full of confidence because I think they were on a long unbeaten run, but they were just not united. And in that tournament, they suddenly were, playing defensively, which is unlike the style of their manager, Michel Platini. And that didn't suit the team. And there was, some unhappiness in that camp. So that's probably why France didn't get through. Well, and for England, this was the start of their disastrous spell under Graham Taylor. And this team had a lot of injuries as well going into this tournament. And the performance in this tournament was an indication of things to come in the years ahead for England.
Yes, indeed. I mean, this was a totally different time for both England and France, unlike what we have seen in the years to come after that. So another significant thing about Euro 92 is undoubtedly one of the greatest striker of that time. Of course, every time I hear people talk about him, there's no question he's gifted, remarkably gifted player, and one of the best of his generation, Marco van Basten. The last time of him outing on the international stage. I mean, what a great player was he, Alvin?
Yeah, I mean, indeed, what a legend he was in that era, right? So can you guys just imagine, right? Berlusconi only signed him for £1 million,
Wow.
for AC Milan from Ajax. Okay, and with that kind of bargain, and at that time his goal ratio in Ajax, in over 130 games was almost 1 goal a game. Okay, so you can imagine, for that kind of talent at that time, £1 million. Okay, and then of course, he was definitely part of that immortal AC Milan team, in the late 80s and early 90s. And in fact, he won 3 Ballon d'Ors, and 88, 89, and 92. And basically that Milan team was just superb. So he was basically, alongside Rijkaard and Gullit as well. And in fact, if you guys remember, Euro 92, okay, was really I would say it was a forgettable experience for Marco van Basten. Even though his last tournament and all that, there was no goals from him, and he had that penalty miss, in that loss to Denmark in the semis, right? And but if we go back just 4 years before that, and that fantastic volley, in that final against Soviet Union, that is, I think, to me, one of the goals of the Euro tournaments. Like, even until now, even when you look at it, you'll be wondering, wow, that goal really sums up Marco van Basten totality, lah. Yeah.
But Marco van Basten again was quite young still.
Yes, correct, Bala. Because when he was basically forced to retire at the age of 28 because of the ankle injury. Yeah, it was an irreversible ankle injury. So the poor guy, he actually had so many more years ahead of him, but because they couldn't do much about that injury, his career ended at the tender age of just 28. Yeah, so what a loss for the world of football, but what memories he has given us, even though Euro 92 not much there, but I would say a true legend. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember Mako and Basten as well. Listening to highlights or rather news, they would always be talking about Serie A scores from Serie A and all that. And AC Milan was be featured quite heavily, and every now and then you hear Mako and Basten scored a hat trick. Mako and Basten scored a hat trick. So that stuck in my mind on the kind of striker he was fearsome. And then suddenly one day he retired. I was like, wow, that's early.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
yeah, I remember Mako and Basten from those years in Serie A.
Okay. Yep. And of course,
Yeah.
Euro 92, it to sum up in overall, it seems to have one of the best ever storyline in the history of the competition. As you just mentioned, Elwin, that Denmark and Netherlands in that semi-final. I mean, at that stage in time, did any one of you guys had any idea that what Denmark is going to pull in this competition, or you just felt that maybe it's going to be a typical, Germany Netherlands final? I mean, what's your guys' take on this?
I think as a neutral, it was fantastic to follow, and it was the triumph of the underdog. So outside of Peter Schmeichel, I didn't know much of the Danish team at that time, but it was wonderful to see when they beat Holland. I thought, okay, they beat Holland, went to the final. Okay, this is maybe a step too far, but then they went on and beat Germany. I thought was, wow, fantastic. I think that's probably the first ever underdog victory in my time as a football fan.
Yeah, it's like a total underdog victory here. I mean, completely unexpected, And I mean, to me, there are two things here, lah. Okay, so if you talk about best storylines, yeah, this goes to me. It ranks alongside that Greece 2004, and it's definitely one for the memories. Of course, that is another underdog story on its own, But I would say, yeah, Denmark's one is definitely up there. I mean, you can't basically top this lah from how they basically entered the competition. Basically, I would say uninvited.
They were on their holidays.
Yeah, correct. These guys were on the holiday, so you can just imagine, just getting called up at the very last minute, knocking stuff up, and basically coming out with the tournament, and it's just wow. I mean, yeah.
I think I echo to you what you said. I think we used to see like the underdog teams usually beat a big team maybe in the group stage, or even maybe you can push it maybe up to even a semi-final or even a quarter-final. But to win a tournament, underdog, I think they actually. I'm not sure about your guys' memory. For me, I feel this Denmark is the first team ever to kickstart of this kind of fairy tale victory and to bring the team all the way there. Is it? But it's a remarkable journey, actually, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
in my lifetime, I would say I can only think of three situations. Of course, Denmark 92, Greece 2004, and of course, Iraq 2007 in the Asian Cup. This is the only, so-called like fairy tale run which went all the way.
Yeah, but I think Denmark kicked off this kind of winning the tournament.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, definitely you can say that. I mean, undoubtedly one of the best storyline. And in case if any one of you out there didn't know about this, there is a movie on this.
Yes.
It's on Netflix. It's called I think
Summer of 92.
Summer of 92, exactly.
Yeah,
it's a wonderful movie. So you guys should be able to watch it. Yep.
Yeah, I should check it out. And talking about Denmark, Sivan, why was their head coach Richard Moller Nielsen not considered a popular figure when he got the job?
Well, to understand that context, you need to go back to the 1980s. If you all remember, or maybe you have read something about football in the 80s, there was this popular team called the Danish Dynamite, the era of the Michael Laudrup, Preben Eltja, Jesper Olsen, and all that great players. And, they didn't win things, but what they did was they played a brand of football that was so entertaining. It was ahead of its time. Perhaps what we are seeing today with, high pressing football, tiki-taka and all that, they were doing it back then.
Was it 1986 World Cup?
1986 World Cup, yes, but they were also there in Euro 84. So in that whole 80s, basically Denmark, they were one of the most outstanding national team to watch. Had and it's the way they played in a way represented the psyche of the Denmark people itself, which is all about having fun, having a good time, no stress, no pressure or nothing. But here's the sad part of it. They couldn't converted that into winning tournaments. When it really mattered, they just seem to falter. I think the example, as you just mentioned, Russ, the 1986 World Cup, what happened against Spain. So Richard Moller Nielsen, he was the assistant coach to the German coach of that era called Sepp Pottiak. And he understood what was lacking in the Danish team. Perhaps a little bit of pragmatic was needed to make the team better so they can win things. But it didn't go down well with many within the Danish FA, whom felt that they needed to get another German coach to continue the good work that was done by Pointek. But of course, against all odds, he stick to what he believed, and history will remember him as the coach that won something for Denmark even until to this day. But there's always going to be this debate in Denmark, when it comes to Danish football, for that matter, which is the better side, whether the 80s or that 92 team. Personally, for me, I tend to lean more towards the 80s because of their brand of football, but I won't take away anything from that 92 side because in the end of the day, title speaks for itself.
But also, I think it's strange also because historically should even be there actually.
Yeah.
Well,
only Yugoslavia never came on. I think Yugoslavia will be playing on behalf of Denmark.
Well, actually, guys, there's a little bit twist to this story, which I just found out last week while doing some research. The whole thing about the team was on holiday was not quite actually true, to be in fact. They were on the verge of going for a holiday. But what happened was at the time when Denmark was given the call to come and join the Euro 92, they were actually preparing for a friendly against CIS. There was actually a pre-tournament friendly between them and CIS. So basically the squad was somewhat or rather there already. Just for them it was like, okay, after we play this friendly, off we go, we're going to enjoy our summer. They just didn't realize that no, you guys are not going anywhere just yet. There's something, you guys have an assignment for this coming summer.
Wow, very, very, very interesting. And so basically this indeed brings us to the end of our Euro 92 segment, and congratulations to Denmark for winning it and really giving us a story that we'll always remember until today. So when we come back, we'll be back with Euro 96. Stay tuned.
Wants to set it up initially for somebody else. Then he had the shot, and the goalkeeper can't keep it out, and Germany have won it. The golden goal. Game over. Bierhoff. A sensational substitute.
Now we'll get into Euro 96. So, Steven, for England, the timing of the Euro was perfect in many ways. Yeah, a new generation of players coming through, cultural significance, and of course, this is definitely something you can talk on for hours. British pop music, Britpop, on the rise, and many more. And in fact, hey, okay, much more than that. Okay, and in fact, Steven, it was through music that we got to know each other as well. So why do you think all this really played a part?
Well, by 1996, the English Premier League was already like going to its, fourth or fifth season, if I'm not mistaken. And, it's already showing its potential of being one of the best leagues in Europe. It was able to sign players like, the summer before that, they managed to get Dennis Bergkamp, they managed to get Ruud Gullit. And, it was, the potential of the league was growing. And it was coincide with this thing called Cool Britannia. Cool Britannia was a term that came out at that era because suddenly, British music became fashionable again. You have groups like Oasis, Blur, Radiohead, Spice Girls and all that. And James Bond has a new movie called Golden Eye. So culturally, British, pop culture was coming back. Becoming, coming back to full swing again. Sort of reminded what it was in the 1960s. So it was just a perfect timing to have a Euro played in England, just as how it was perfect to have a World Cup in 1966. Yeah.
Actually, talking about Euro 96, earlier on, Bala was talking about UPSR for Euro 92.
Yep.
Euro 96, I was sitting for my equivalent of UPSR here called the PSLE.
Singapore's UPSR.
Yeah, so listeners would know what's the difference between our ages now. I'm the baby.
At least your government, managed to, save you for another 4 years, bro. Okay. Of course, Ras, in this particular Euro, Italy did qualify.
Yeah.
And just before we get into that further, this was the first Euro which we had 16 teams. Prior to this was 8 teams. So, it's a big difference. That's why in this particular Euro, we had all the big guns qualifying for a major European championship. And Italy was joint favorites alongside Germany on the pre-tournament, but they didn't make it past the group stage. I mean, what happened, bro?
Very simple. No Baggio. No Baggio equal no party. Okay, jokes aside, Italy still had a good team, a very, very good team, because just not good enough to qualify out of the group stage, because there's this thing about Italian football. When they are favorites, they tend to not do well. So they do well when they are not favorites and nobody gives them a chance. This is the mentality around Italian football. So anyways, this was the first first Euros that I watched from the start. And I think they paid the price for underestimating Czech Republic in the second game. They won the first game against Russia, was quite comfortable, but although the scoreline didn't reflect that, but I was still quite comfortable. Second game, Arrigo Sacchi changed the team. I think they underestimated Czech Republic. We got a shock defeat. Then we go into the third game against Germany, strong team, needing to beat them. We could have beaten them. Zola missed the penalty. So despite Germany going down to 10 men, we still couldn't get a goal. And that's it. We're out of the tournament. And, Italy also traditionally like to start the tournament slow, like how it happened in USA 94. Before that, they started the tournament slow and then they build up as the tournament went by. Because in the Euros, only the top 2 qualify, they couldn't afford to start slow and go through as one of the one of the best third place finished teams. So that's the reason why Italy was out. Too much tinkering from Arrigo Sacchi.
So I also want to say add on certain things, because when I was this is the first time I was involved in Euros, because I started watching World Cup 90. We've got my favorite Basten, Argentina, and of course I have some soft spot for Italy. In fact, Italy is my second favorite team. So Euros I was following up with the Italy squad. I think this problem with Sacchi, I think he's the one that actually surprised me, because he brought AC Milan to one level. In fact, the brand of football he plays totally different than any typically Italian manager. But I think he is the, I would say, I don't know, banana skin or whatever is it. I think for me, he's the downfall for the Euro, because one thing he left out Baggio, but also don't forget he left out Signori.
Yeah.
I mean, that's only 3 top stars. And the teamwork with him is totally different. And then the main reason why they actually went to the World Cup final 1994 is because of Baggio's rise to the second half of the tournament. But also not to forget that finally when Baggio went out, tactically, strategically, he never do anything different. So if you ask me, I think this Euro was down to Sacchi. Besides that, I don't think any other reason to it. He couldn't develop a squad with full of talent and full of team with incredible players. Until this era, I didn't dominate any team, but I think it's surprising. Maybe Sacchi think too much, and he wanted to deploy the same tactic to Italy. I'm not sure. I think he took too many things wrong.
Yeah, I think he got that spot on, because he's known to be a bit of an obsessive coach. Something like what we see now with Pep Guardiola, very obsessive and almost maniacal. So Sacchi is known to be that. I think probably like what you say, overthinking. I remember he played Del Piero in the first game against Russia. He played him on the left wing when he's not a left winger, and he only lasted 45 minutes. That's it, and we didn't see Del Piero for the rest of the tournament.
But then the idea basically, you see, when you talk about Pep Guardiola is attacking, fine, but I mean, let's talk about national team. Like Greece was a defensive team, Germany is a pounding team. I think even Portugal recently won by resilience and determination by Cristiano Ronaldo and with the whole squad. But Italy, I think all the way they never had any identity. Even his tournament, suddenly they play good, suddenly they play cold. I think Sacchi didn't gel the team properly.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
okay, moving on.
I mean, totally agree with you guys. I mean, I think Roberto Baggio at that time, he was still in his prime, to be honest. I think he should have been there. It's just surprised why he didn't. And speaking of Baggio, of course, there's a movie on him on Netflix. Do check it out. And the interesting thing about what Sacchi mentioned to him is that you are like Diego Maradona. You are to us as how Maradona is to Argentina. But surprisingly, you didn't allow Baggio to be the Maradona for Italy. You didn't let him lose Otherwise, it could have been a different story. I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. Now let's talk about England. They had a marvelous tournament. I mean, Elwin, the Gascoigne goal.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get anything better than that Gascoigne goal, right?
And
Against.
then the result against Netherlands. I mean, I totally believe that this could have been England's tournament for the taking. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
yeah, basically, yes, the team basically had a lot of potential. For me personally, it was this was one of the most iconic Euro for me because one thing is growing up as a Man United fan, and getting exposed to English football, and of course for me, what I really liked about this Euro was because of the Wembley Stadium. Every time when I watched that FA Cup matches, right, with that Road to Wembley song and all that, it really brings back that memories. And I can remember my first Wembley memory, right, is when I saw Gaza score that thunderbolt free kick against
Oh, yeah.
Arsenal, in the
Yeah.
semis in 1991. I remember that goal very well, and that's when I know, wow, Gaza, I got a shock of my life. And indeed, Paul Gascoigne was one of the pivotal figure in this team, in this English team. And with the deadly partnership of Sheringham and Shearer, and Shearer, of course, finished top scorer with 5 goals, and Sheringham supporting him there most of the time. The midfield also, you had Platt, Paul Ince, and then of course Gaza is there as well. And then McManaman and Anderton playing on the right, they keep changing among each other. So it was a very good team. And talk about defense, they got Tony Adam as a rock, and of course, the mustache man Seaman in goal. I mean, basically, if you think about it, right, this English team had almost everything, right? But unfortunately, it had to come on the penalties again, right? And what a worse opponent in this planet to
Of
face.
all the teams, Germany.
Of all the teams, you have to go against the mighty Germans, right?
Yeah, I remember, Elvin, I was sitting doing Form 4. I bet against you for what do you call it, England, Germany, and you took England of being host. But thank God, Germany won the game. I think.
Yeah. But for me, this in this English team, right, there is actually I would say a very sentimental moment for me is Stuart Pearce. When Stuart Pearce scored that penalty against Spain, right, in the quarters, that really redeemed himself, after the 1990 miss, right?
Yes.
And indeed, you must see. I mean, you guys should check out the way, and even our listeners, how when Pierce scored that penalty against Spain, you look at the way he celebrated. He's like he finally got that monkey out of his back, that thing that
Psycho,
people
the psycho.
Yes, and they call him Psycho Stewart. Yeah, so it was really that determination from him, and give him credit again. He did score against Germany as well. Unfortunately, England's current manager.
Yeah.
Gareth Southgate missed the penalty, right? So
Yep.
yeah, so basically, the English team had huge potential.
Yep.
Just unfulfilled. Yeah.
I think leading up to that tournament, remember England got into a bit of trouble when they went on a pre-tournament tour to Hong Kong or something. Yeah.
Yep.
The players were caught drinking. Biasa, England and drinking goes hand in hand. So they got into a bit of trouble there. And then I think the camaraderie and the team spirit there was strong.
Yep.
Yeah, the England team didn't have many Manchester United players, by the way, Alvin. You only had the two Neville brothers.
Yeah, just the
So
Neville
no
brothers.
Beckham, no Scholes. Yeah. All these guys was their first season playing. We won the double that season, but they never made it into the England squad.
Because they're very tender age of 21 only. 20,
yeah, correct.
22, yeah.
Yep.
The Spice Boys.
Spice Boys were Liverpool players. They were there.
But if you kind of think about it, even the Spice Boys, I mean, I think only Steve McManaman, I would say, had a decent career with England. The rest, like Fowler, Redknapp, and all that, I don't think they. I mean, Owen came in later, but at that particular era, only Mecca was the player that really had, an impact with England.
Yeah, true.
But as for me, well, I'm 1/4 Scotch. So when England played Scotland, of course, I think Shearer scored a goal first, and I believe there was a penalty for Scotland.
Yeah, Gary
McAllister missed it, and right in the attack, that goal happened. I froze in front of the TV, thinking like, what on earth was that? But when that kind of goal happens, you know what they say. There's certain kind of goal that when it happens, your team cannot just lose. Like when Maradona scored that second goal against England, it's impossible for Argentina to lose that game. And same thing goes for this game. When that goal, Gascoigne scored that, I just knew it is England's game for the taking. There's no way Scotland can come back from this. And speaking of another goal, which again, it's one of those goals that when someone scores a goal like this, your team is practically going to go out. It's none other than Czech Republic's Karel Proboski's goal against Portugal. That Portugal's golden generation. I mean, what a disappointing Russ for them to go out prematurely in the quarterfinals when you think of the players they had, Figo, Rui Costa, João Pinto and all that.
Yeah, true. Actually, I didn't know much of that Portugal team and that this was called the golden generation until afterwards. But I was intrigued by them because I've never seen them in any of the tournaments since I became a fan. And I knew a handful of the players there, especially those that played in Serie A, like Rui Costa, Paulo Sousa, Fernando Couto, and of course, Luis Figo, big name, Barcelona, Vito Baia in goal, João and Sa Pinto. Those two guys stand out because of their similar surnames. So, yeah, that was the Portuguese team. I expected them to do better because, again, still we're not really taking the Czechs seriously. So when they played the Czechs, I thought Portugal would beat them. But I was surprised when they got knocked out. And also, of course, there was still some resentment against the Czechs as an Italy fan, because, I want them out of the tournament. But well done to the Czechs. They did well.
Yeah, yes, Ras. I think also to add on your thing, the golden generation is team because the Portuguese have won the 2 FIFA Youth World Cup. So I think the team was in a good performance with all the big clubs, especially in Syria team. But then, they just couldn't have that edge. And of course, the Czechs
got checkmate, basically.
Yes.
Karel Proboski and his Robert Plant hairstyle as well.
Yes.
Yes, and of course, that's when he left his mark. That's when everybody knew Karel Proboski, that goal. And then right after that, the next season,
MU Fleur.
Yeah, MU Fleur signed him. Yeah.
And of course, Czech Republic became the Cinderella team of this competition. Of course, they couldn't do what Denmark did 4 years earlier, but they really left a very, very important mark in this Euro, guys. So, like you mentioned, Karel Proboski, and let's not forget Patrick Berger. This was his production. Yep. Yeah. I mean, overall, I would say on paper, this Czech Republic team had quality overall, but unfortunately, again, when you play against Germany, I mean, I think Germany didn't want to repeat another Euro 92 2.0. Having lost against Denmark and then losing against Czech Republic. They didn't want to become the team that gives birth to Cinderella stories.
Yes, correct.
And of course, in that German team, there was one glaring figure, I would say. I mean, you look at him, it's him. You can't go wrong. It's Matthias Sammer. Of course, he won the best player of the tournament. So, you think this is justified? I mean, considering Scherer scored 5 goals, you had Devo Suker at outstanding tournament, Zidane, Figo, so many other great names.
I think Zidane, that time was still in Bordeaux, and I think it's one of the tournaments just before he went to turn up with Juve. So from that perspective, I feel that he is by bringing France to the next level. But I think Scherer and Sammer had a good tournament, to be fair, and especially Matthias Sammer. I think, of course, they won the Euro, so I think justified, especially come as a libero. Like how Germany used to play with the libero style. I think it suited their style, and with his leadership and his command in the midfield and even the defensive. I think there's no other people, despite all his attacking fellas, Scherer, Devo Suker, Zidane, Figo. I think Sammer put them in their place, and I think he deserves it. I think maybe you fellas agree or not agree. I don't know.
He was fantastic. I think Sammer was fantastic. That tournament, the last great sweeper.
Yeah.
The world has seen.
Even now, I'm having this Ferrari with all the attacking players winning year after year. I think that Sammer, Cannavaro, this first of winning actually gives me happiness because seeing this first finally winning. The hard work and score the goal, and maybe Zidane just do a one shot, some magical moment, and he gets the tournament, he gets the player. I don't believe that.
Yeah, but you don't get this kind of summer players anymore already, right? I think
no.
I think after that was if you could remember was Lucio. That was another player that usually used to take off take off on some unstoppable runs. Okay, but coming back to this tournament, Devo Suka was is finishing.
Yeah.
Right, I think Devo Suka is one fella, right? Like, if you give him a one-on-one with a goalkeeper very close, his footwork is just awesome, lah. That I think, if I'm not mistaken, that goal against Germany, the way he just pulled the ball to the from one feet to another, and then he scored was just it's just fantastic. And then
Was
of
that
course
France 98?
No, I know. I think it's this tournament, bro. Yeah. And then of course that goal against Denmark as well. When he basically
Chip Schmeichel.
yeah. So I mean, he to me is one very underrated finisher in front of goal. Yeah, a very good number 9. Yeah,
Deadly.
But then, the one is my favorite player, Matthias. I don't deny that. But talking about all his position, you can see the striker position and you see the goalkeeper position. Only when the ball comes to that side of the field, this first the action starts. For example, when the ball comes to the goalkeeper, the D line, the goalkeeper started getting in action. Or the ball come to the striker side, which is I think maybe just 75 meter. Perhaps after that, the striker started getting excited. But the defenders and the midfielders, actually the one who do the work all the way. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, they play offside, and I mean a lot of activities going on. So yeah.
And I think Matthias Sammer is the one player I think in many ways I would say benefited the most from a unified Germany, because you have to remember, guys, he was a former East German.
Yeah, East German guy. Yeah.
And the fact that with the unified Germany, with his talent, he was able to play alongside your Klinsmann, what do you call it, Thomas Berthold, Thomas Hessler, Jürgen Kohler, all these players around him. He was able to accelerate his career and able to win something on the international stage, which may not have happened if East Germany was still around. Don't you guys think?
Yeah, true. Agree.
Yeah. Okay. So having said that, of course, the final, this was the first time ever a final was decided by the golden goal rule. And I don't know, Elvin, for me, do you think it's the most anti-climax way? I mean, I'm not a big fan of this golden goal or silver goal or whatever you call it. I'm glad they got away with it. But at that time, I mean, what's your take on this?
I mean, okay, to sum it up, in our local language, Malay, we call something potong steam. Okay, so basically, so I mean, that Oliver Bierhoff goal. I mean, it's not just that it was a golden goal. Okay, it being a golden goal is really it really like sucked the gas out of the whole atmosphere. Okay, but the way the goal was scored, I mean, it wasn't like some fantastic belter or something like that. It was like, I don't know, the guy shot the ball and then the keeper's hands were soft and he just went
fumbled
through
it. Yeah.
Yes, he fumbled it and then it just went in, right? And like the whole tournament just ended like that.
Keeper was Petr Kuba, right?
Yeah, Petr Kuba.
Not Ludek Miklosko or
Pavel
Skriniar, right?
Was Petr Kuba, yeah.
Okay.
And of course, in that tournament, in that final, I was rooting for the underdog, and I was, when Patrick Berger blasted in that penalty, half an hour to go, I thought, okay, we are up, looks like we're in for an upset and all that, but then, here comes Oliver Bierhoff, and this is where he really introduced himself, and with all kinds of lessons in heading, when he headed the equalizer. And I think down the road, everybody will know Oliver Bierhoff for what kind of headers he has contributed to the world of football. Yeah. So I mean, I never agreed to this golden goal thing. I didn't like it.
Okay, Elvin, I give you a scenario. Just imagine.
You're gonna give me for a team I support, right?
No. Forget about team I support. Just imagine this in World Cup having golden rule. Maradona dribbled 10 past play and scored a winning goal in the golden ball. Is it justifiable?
I'll take it. This is exactly what I'm saying. If you're a supporter, if you're a fan, you will take it. But then in general, if you're neutral and all that.
I think the best way to describe that goal would be that it was frozen in time.
Yep. Well, I mean, any other interesting takes you guys from this Euro that you guys want to share? Maybe from personal experience or something.
No, I think we've shared our personal experiences as well of this Euro.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a lot of sweet memories. I think more of this Euros than Euro 92.
Yep.
But yeah, this was the start probably all of us, in fact, our journey with the Euros.
Yep. Yep.
Because for me, this was like I would say it was coming towards the end of our high school, right? So, there were lots of constructive conversations, and lots of discussions, heated discussions going on, among our classmates, and we got guys, I think, I'd like to give one of our friends, Sri Ganesh, a shout out here because this was when he really went to Czech Republic. Yeah, he really, went like a machine gun for Czech Republic. So really, I mean, this was the memories that left behind for me.
Don't forget the Bola Dadu.
Yes. Yeah, maybe you can explain to people what's the Bola Dadu. Take a eraser.
No, I think we bought a book. I think I'm not sure, 80 cents or $1 that part.
A mathematic book.
Mathematic book. So what we do a group stage, knockout system. So I think a 4 hours means Sri Ganesh and one Najib, right?
Najib, yeah. It was a mini tournament.
Mini tournament, but not one tournament. So each we'll have maybe a 5-6 tournament. So what we do, we select, maybe like I take Germany, then I take 4 teams like Germany or Italy or something like that. Then I'll even take another team. So you do a group stage, then you do a knockout stage, then you go to the final, and then we need. So how he does it, we use Dadu, you know what you call it, dice.
Dice, yeah.
So and to be confirmed, we never buy a dice. We take a rubber. We use all our physics understanding, mathematics understanding. We cut the rubber and we put number 1, number 2, number 3, and play that. So I think paper cuts the rubber.
Yeah. So that was a memory, lah. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, Sivan, these are the memories we take away, lah, from this one. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure a lot of our millennials listeners here will be keen to explore more on this Bola Dadu as they hear Bala's description, and probably they will go and try to recreate something of their own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Steven, so maybe let's move on and let's talk about some other interesting stuff that came out of all this Euro tournament and all that. So for Steven, do you think a unified Yugoslavia, featuring players from Serbia, Croatia, Macedonia, Slovenia, Bosnia, all from that era, could actually win one of these Euros?
I absolutely think they could have won it. I totally believe in it, because if you think about the group of players, like for example, like Serbia, you had Sinisa Mihajlovic, you had Vladimir Jugovic, you had Predrag Mijatovic, and then Croatia, you had your Suker, your Boban, your Prosineski, your Robert Jani, and all that. Macedonia had Darko Pančev, and then Slovenia had Zlatko Zahovic and all these players. Can you imagine what it would be like if they all were together as that Yugoslavia team? Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I think not only Euros, even World Cup. I mean, if you could actually get them unified. Right?
I mean, you just need to look at it this way. You had Red Star Belgrade; they won the European Cup in '91. That itself unlocked a lot of potential that what Yugoslavia football had back then.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunately, the politics, the civil war in the country split everything apart. And on the eve of Euro '92, they were pretty kicked out of the tournament, and Denmark came in. The rest is history. But I like to think that if they were kept together, if that whole nation was together as Yugoslavia, I believe they could have won something. Because I remember reading something about Yugoslavia in the 1990 World Cup. People say they were the Brazilian of Europe. I mean, at that point of time. So, and to put it even better context, let's talk about France '98. Croatia was this close to going to the final and could have won the World Cup.
Yeah.
Imagine if that Croatia team could have had some of the Yugoslavia players who were knocked out in the second round by the Netherlands. Netherlands needed a last-minute goal from Edgar Davids to be out of the tournament. So you can actually see what was lacking in the Croatia team. If they could just, bits and pieces puzzle here and there, who knows what could have happened. But these are just all the many what ifs in football. But sometimes when I think about it, I feel like, man, we really lost that a moment in time that we could have enjoyed watching these nations together. But that's pretty much the way it is. Politics prevail, and history, it is what it is. So yeah. I mean, I don't, what's your take, guys?
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you. They are quite a devastating team. There are a lot of talented players. I would want to name one more guy, Dejan Savicevic.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes, you know.
And
Yeah,
I have to name another guy because I forgot about his name. He was the number 10, Dragan Stojkovic.
Oh yeah.
so there you go. Just keep naming these guys, and you can form a whole squad of 23 already there for this whole tournament.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, so let's end this episode. Going something a little bit fun, guys. So the 90s, when it comes to jersey, I'm sure we can all agree. For me personally, they had some of the best jerseys of that era. Colorful, very extravagant. You represented the whole 90s vibe, what was all about. So do you guys have particular preference or favorite jersey from one of these Euros, especially like 92 and 96? I would like to start first. The Czech Republic jersey team was awesome.
Okay.
You like the Czech Republic of '96, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. For me, I would say the jersey that Peter Schmeichel wore in the final. That rainbow jersey,
Yeah.
that rainbow goalkeeper jersey is something. That's a collector. That's a collector item.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, and I actually like the Italy '96. That Italy jersey actually looked very nice because he had that gold trimming on the sleeve and the collar. I like the Italy jersey of '96. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. You named two of my choices as well.
Oh, really? You also wanted the Schmeichel one? Yeah.
I think the Germany, Holland, and France ones in Euro '92, those were iconic jerseys. Holland again in Euro '96. I think Holland never goes wrong with their jerseys. Somehow always very nice.
One color.
Steven,
I think the
Scotland's
color
jersey.
itself will bung you. Already. Look at the color, you're already basically attracted to it.
Yeah. Scotland's jersey. I think Scotland's jersey was nice as well. Steven, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it wasn't like outstanding or what, but it did had all the criteria what was necessary for a good Scotland jersey.
Yeah, all the tartan and all that on jersey. And England's jersey was good.
But I bet one jersey, guys, I think if it's available on eBay or somewhere, it's going to fetch you guys a lot of money. The CIS jersey from Euro '92.
Oh yeah. Yeah, correct. That's really one for the museum.
Definitely, no doubt about it.
Your favorite player was playing in there, Alvin Kanchelskis.
Yeah.
Oh, Kanchelski was correct. Yeah, he was a CIS player.
Yeah, but it was not a very good tournament for them. And in fact, guys, I think there's one more jersey worth mentioning. It's very simple, okay. But if you guys remember, the Adidas design during that time always had that Adidas that three stripes on both the shoulders, right?
Yeah.
The left and the right shoulder.
Yes.
But this one team only had it on one side, Sweden. If you remember that Sweden jersey, that yellow with that blue stripes coming down on the right sleeve, and it continues on their pants on the left side. So it's like a flow there, which that Sweden jersey is something. Yeah. I think that's the same jersey they wore in USA '94. So.
Yep.
For me, basically, I think Italy was nice, but also not to forget England, the grey color jersey there.
Yes.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one reminds me because that's the game that where the England actually lost to Germany. So I think after the MU first did the same thing, I felt lost half time. I think they gave the jersey.
The grey jersey.
I think that was the only time England had that jersey, right? Just for that tournament, right?
Yes, I can't recall after that any other.
I think so. I've not seen it again.
Yeah. And that was the only game they played that jersey, the semis. Yeah.
And particularly I like the German jersey, the green color. The away jersey.
Okay. All right. And what about the Spanish jersey, guys? I mean, did they have that one particular design on the side of I think it usually is on the left side of the jersey? I remember back in the World Cups, World Cup '94, '90 and all that, they used to have one kind of stripe on the side there. I'm not sure whether they had it for this Euro or not.
Yeah, I think the 96 one, you mean the stripes that go all the way on the left side, is it?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, the 96 one had, and the collar was quite high also, I think. If I
Chinese
remember.
collar, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And you can imagine like a fella like Fernando Hierro, very tall, wearing that. Yeah, it makes him look taller. Yeah.
Miguel Engel Nadal.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was fierce. That guy was fierce.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. So, we've done with favorite jersey. So I'm going to ask all three of you guys, if you guys have your best 11 from both Euros. I mean, just briefly explain your formation and the lineup of players. So you want to go first, Russ?
Okay, I've got it. 4-4-2.
Mm-hmm.
Classic 90s formation, 4-4-2. So goalkeeper, one and only Peter Schmeichel.
Mm-hmm.
At right back, I've got Jocelyn Engloma from France.
Okay.
Sweeper, I've got Matthias Sammer.
Mm-hmm.
And centre back, Jürgen Kohler. So
Wow, okay.
German back line. Left back, Paolo Maldini. Can't go wrong with him.
All right.
Right wing, Karel Poborski. Centre mid, Andres Muller. And Paul Gascoigne.
Okay.
Left wing, Patrick Berger. And up front, I'm going to go with this pairing I feel is the best pairing among the two Euros, Alan Shearer and Teddy Sheringham.
Alan Shearer and Teddy Sheringham. Okay, all right. Fair enough. How about you, Alvin?
Okay, for me, I've got some differences with Ras. I will go with a 3-5-2. Okay, and I'll have Schmeichel be in goal for me. Okay, but among my three defenders, I will have Stefan Reuter on the right hand side with Matthias Sammer. Okay, Matthias Sammer in the middle, and on the left, due to that determination and all that sentimental thing, I'll put Stuart Pearce. Okay, I'll put Psycho on the left. Okay. All right, and my five midfielders will be Andy Moller, Paul Gascoigne, Patrick Berger on the left. I will switch Brian Laudrup and I'll play him on the attacking right side, like a forward right attacking midfielder, right? And of course, we have to include a Danish midfielder here, and Kim Milford. I will put him in the middle of the park there. Among the five midfielders, and the two guys up front, I think to me these guys will be deadly is Alan Shearer and Jurgen Klinsmann.
Alan Shearer and Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah, I will have to put these two players up front. Yeah.
Okay.
But they might be going for the same ball all the time.
Okay, Bala. Okay, I hope your goalkeeper is not Peter Schmeichel.
I think I have to go Peter Schmeichel.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's our wall. I think in our era, especially when the team losing, what you see now, the Ellison again. I think Peter Schmeichel started over as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Peter Schmeichel for me is the goalkeeper. In defense, I put Sammer, Maldini, Reuter, and Ferrara. I think this will give a solid backline with minimum attacking, but I've familiar use the tactical of the Germany attack because Sammer's there. And then in midfield, I use three. Basically, I put Patrick Berger because I think he's had one of the great shots, especially I remember against Blackburn Rovers. And I think he's very good in far shot, and also his crossing is quite good. Perhaps I put two attacking midfielders to support him, maybe in terms of Moller and also Rui Costa. Basically, they're doing all the assists together support. And then I have three strikers. Basically, Zola will be playing the whole. Support, of course, I think like Alvin said, the two of the daily strikers of all time, Shearer and Klinsmann.
Wow, okay, interesting. I mean, well, to be honest, guys, I don't really have a personal best 11 because I didn't have time for it. But somewhere along the line, I can see my personal 11 will have all the players that you guys have mentioned because you guys have more or less pretty much picked up the best from these two tournaments. I mean, you can't go wrong with Peter Schmeichel, that's for sure. No way. I don't think you can ever find any other goalkeeper from these two Euro that I would say outstanding. Although I might give a shout out for Bodo Igner. I might give a shout out, say, for
David Seaman.
Maybe David Seaman. Why not? I mean, it's not like it's not like he had a bad Euro in '96. It's just unfortunately penalty shootout, right? But he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything wrong. He did what he possibly could. So yeah. And you got, like you guys mentioned, striker Klinsmann and Shearer. I mean, I'm not too sure how you can maneuver from there, but maybe I might pick David Suker for that matter.
Dennis Bergkamp had a good Euro '92 also.
Well, I can't really remember. I mean, 90.
Yeah. I mean that Dennis Bergkamp of '92 was like the changing of guard lah, from when Basten to Bergkamp. Like you
Yeah,
can see
probably.
he was coming into the picture at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget, in that 92 squad, Sweden, they had a very
Yes.
interesting pairing up front.
The deadly toothless.
Yes,
Thomas Brolin.
Yes, Brolin and Dalin.
yes. And don't forget, their goalkeeper was outstanding as well.
The madman from Malmo.
Thomas Ravelli. Yeah. So basically, it's more aligned with what you guys have chosen. I mean, these are wonderful Euros. I mean, for me personally, when I think of what Euro 92 and 96, it happened in the 90s. It happened perhaps at the most carefree period of my life. Unlike what today, it's a different level altogether. But back then, it's still depending on your parents' pocket money. You're free to do anything beyond their radar, I would say. As long as they're not keeping an eye on you, you're pretty much a free man. You can do anything in the world you want. Yeah, I mean, it brings me a lot of great memories, guys. I mean, how about you guys?
Not so carefree because I was still in school. But I was only 12 years old by the time Euro 96 was around. But yeah, I get what you mean. Well, it was wonderful days. I was in what you call primary school here, I call it primary school, Sekolah Rendah in Malaysia. So still a kid. Had some wonderful memories. I think you guys are talking about Bola Dadu. I'm not sure if you guys have played this where you take the
Bola Ketok.
I don't know what you call it down there, but we take the the cardboards.
Yes, and you fold them and
roll
then
it into half.
and you roll a small aluminium ball for aluminium wrapper and then you keep
the cigarette one.
Something like that. Yeah, I used to take from the back of the foolscap paper. So the cardboards there, I will collect that. I'll make my own teams and we have our own mini tournaments during recess.
Correct. And then you have your goal post is made out of paper.
Correct.
Sampan.
Yes, correct. So that was another memory from around Euro 96 time.
Yep, definitely.
So yeah, those are the memories I had.
Definitely. I mean, this was the interesting time. Jerseys were colorful. It's very vibrant. I mean, I think it represented that particular era, I would say. Overall, when you think of Euro 92, 96, and of course in between the World Cups during that era.
For me, basically, I met my best friend Elvin. It's been years, for 20 over years together. So after that, only for through uni, I got to know Sivan. So thanks to all of you, and through Sivan and Elvin, I got to know Ras. So thank you for that also. But I was just
pleasure.
This is basically the friendship of journey for even the beginning of the Bola Bola Show. I went backpacks with Ras. So it's a very nostalgic period and a lot of good memories. Like what Sivan said, carefree. You own the world and. I was involved in Sukma, Taekwondo. A lot of excitement at the time. This morning was something you look forward at the time.
Yeah. Indeed, the best days and also buying that magazines that come out before the tournament and all that as well, right?
Yes.
The magazines with the squad and all the analyses and all this. But nowadays, people don't get this stuff. Everything is available online. They just go wiki and all that. They just check, right? But last time people collect this kind of memorabilia. You see, so it's it was during that era lah, before all the PlayStations and all these, like what you guys were saying, all the Bola Keto, Bola Dadu, all the basic stuff that made us the most happiest lah. The simplest things in life. The most basic at that point of time,
And don't forget, they used to do the sticker, I think from Panini. I think you can buy and then
yes.
Your collection.
Yeah, true.
That was another era at the time.
Yep. Well, they still have the sticker, and of course, they did release the Euro version. Unfortunately, it's not available in our Malaysian store, so you need to buy it online.
No, I checked out already. It's no sticker. I'm not sure the sticker, but the card, the Panini, the collector's card, that one you can buy already actually. I think you can in Shopee.
Okay.
But I can get that. Maybe, but now all this becoming a collector's item, whereby, I'm not sure 20, 30 years from now, per card will go rocket.
True.
Look out for Mbappe.
And guys, just one more thing to add here is it was like after Euro 96 in 96, then it come 97, 98 and all that. These are the things, right, that led us up to playing Championship Manager, right?
Yes, true.
I think we need to have another episode just on Championship Manager.
Yeah.
Correct.
Sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
because that's when suddenly when you click this Czech player, Jan Sukaperek, playing for Strasbourg. Okay, I know the player Euro 96. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Something.
yeah, good memories, lah. Good memories. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Russ, any last words from you?
Yeah, just let the listeners know that this is part 1 of our Euro special.
Yeah, this is the
Part two
first leg.
first leg. Second leg, I'll be hosting. So we'll be covering the Euros in the Northeast. So all 2000, 2004, 2008. So we'll be doing part 2 after this episode, which is releasing sometime next week.
Okay.
So got away goals rules, bro.
I heard they already talking to scrap the away goal actually. Maybe I may not sure.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And also another thing I just found out the facts, the back pass rule.
Ah.
The last tournament was held to having the back pass it was 1992.
Was it?
Euro, yes. After that they scrap off the
Okay. I thought it was 1990 was the last one.
1992. I mean after this tournament 92, I think immediately was in I think Olympics they started to enforce the back pass rule.
Okay. All right, interesting fact. So, any last word from you guys, Albin and Bala?
No, just a great episode, yes, and thank you very much, Ras, for like join venture with us in this episode together.
Welcome.
Thank you for your time. So guys, do check out Ras, Ras podcast as well. Back pass with Ras and enjoy all those quality episodes that he has over there. Yeah.
Yep.
So do support him. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for the shout out.
No worries, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bala,
yes. Yeah, thanks, Ras, for joining us. It was a good idea to talk about Euros. In fact, it brings us a lot of memories, and I think it's good to know you as well. And then, but we should support Backpass Ras. I think you also do a lot of writing as well for in your Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah, true. We have a lot of other contents as well, not just the podcast.
And
So
also
we're constantly sharing on our Facebook page and Twitter page.
Yeah, so a lot of writing as well, and good luck for writing about Antonio Conte leaving Inter soon. Good luck for that as well.
I thought we were going to talk about that off air.
So I think there's a lot. I think two things in one, MU and also this. Good luck in having a wonderful time in it, guys.
Okay. Friendly banters going around here. Anyway, it was wonderful to talk to all of you guys, and of course, we will post a link of the Backpass with Russ, and including from their website and also all their social media handles. And so, do sure to check them out. And thank you, Russ, for joining us. Thank you, Elvin and Bala, for all the insights and input. And of course, this is episode 1. We will look forward to our episode 2, hosted by Backpass with Russ. In the meantime, goodbye for now.